And today we get to conclude this 5-week series that we have been journeying on together all around the koshas. And this one is all about the Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda in the language of Sanskrit means bliss or happiness, but it's like that deep-seated soul happiness. So the intention of this practice is to really tap into that inner experience of blissfulness and happiness, to like notice what's good and wonderful that's like already here, but that maybe we don't always give our full attention to. So we are going to start in child's pose near the back of the mat. You can have your knees whatever width feels best to you in your body in this moment. And just let yourself take a few breaths to settle in. So we have moved through, the physical self or the physical body, the breath body, the mind body, the intuition or wisdom body, and we have arrived at the core, which is this body of bliss that abides within each one of us. And so as we move into a practice that is focused on the Anandamaya Kosha, we are invited to really notice this deep-seated contentment. To really acknowledge the sense of innate goodness and inherent joy and radiant happiness that is this seed inside of us. And so take 3 more breaths, just acknowledging that simply the ability to be here right now is a pretty blissful place to be. And we're going to start with some very gentle movement forward and back. And so on your next inhale, you can rock yourself forward to all fours and drop into a soft cow shape. And then let the spine round to cat and melt back to a child's. And just move back and forth through those shapes a few times at whatever cadence feels yummy to you. And remembering that the intention today is really to find your bliss, to follow the bliss. That recognizing that love and joy are at the core of this practice. So there's a little addition that we're going to add on here. So the next time you rock forward, let your shins lift up and let your pelvis melt to the mat. And then look to the right. And look to the left. And then as the head comes to center, let it dip back and think of the toes moving to the top of the head. And then drop the shins and return to the child's. And just do that little flow a few times. So you rock forward into that bird bath and you let your spine kind of sway one way. And you kind of sway the other. You come to center and you feel the toes and the head coming towards each other. And then you melt back. Just a couple more times through that little bird bath swaying, and let it feel good. So this doesn't have to be overly technical. And back to the child's. And one more time, again, you're moving at your pace. So if I'm going too fast, you could slow it down. And we will make our way into a down dog from here. So you can tuck the toes and come into your first downward facing dog. And as always, welcoming in any movement that's going to help you acquaint yourself with this shape. And acknowledging any tenderness that's here. I did a lot of walking and hiking when we were in Iceland, so I'm still feeling some tenderness in my calves and around my Achilles. So I know I'm going to have to be a little bit more tender in that part of my body, and you may notice a different story in your body. And then see if you can start to create some stillness in the down dog. And there's so many things we could focus on here, but I'm going to give you 2 cues to think of. And the first is, think of lifting your thigh muscles. Just lifting the thigh muscles. And a whole slew of things will happen when you do that, but the main action is just think of lifting the thigh muscles. And then think of hugging your upper arms towards each other. And again, a lot of things will come with that action, but hug the upper arms together and lift the thigh bones or the thigh muscles. And then look to the front of your mat. We'll start to walk the feet forward towards the back of the wrists, slowly making our way up into our mountain pose. Let yourself dangle here for a couple breaths in Uttanasana. And one of the affirmations that I found to accompany today's practice is from Swami Pramananda that said, practice love until you remember that you are love. And so as we start to move into the sun salutation portion of the practice, really practicing with that spirit of love until you remember that you are, in fact, an embodiment of love. Bring your fingertips to shins. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms out and up. And hands into heart center. We're going to move through 5 Surya Namaskaram A's, and we're going to go through all 5 of the koshas, just a little bit of a different awareness in each one of those. So standing in your mountain pose, front of the mat. And here we go, this first round, thinking of the physical body. Sweep those arms out and up. Folding over the legs, remembering that the physical food body consists, inhale, half lift, of the skin, the muscles, and the bones. Walk back to your plank pose. Feel that physical food body. And then move through your vinyasa. Maybe it's a chaturanga, maybe it's a knees, chest, chin. Find your back bend. And then land in the down dog. And as you lift your thigh muscles and you hug your upper arm bones together, really connect with that experience of that physical Anandamaya Kosha, that first kosha we met and explored. Look to the front of the mat, walking or stepping the feet. Inhale, half lift, feeling skin, muscles, and bones. Exhale, fold. And then sweep the arms out and all the way up. Seal this first round. Exhale, hands to heart center. Start to drop your awareness into the breath body or the energy body. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Think equal breath here. Inhale, half lift. That pranamaya kosha, stepping back to your plank pose, that energy body moving through the vinyasa. Finding your back bend of choice. Finding your down dog. This could always be a child's pose if you're feeling a little fatigued. Taking a couple breaths here. Feeling into that energy body. Inhale, looking to the front of the mat. Walking, stepping, or a light hop of the feet. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold in. Sweep the arms out and up in breath. Exhale, start to drop the awareness into the mind body, the Anandamaya Kosha. Sweep those arms out and up. What is your mind like right now? Folding forward. Inhaling, half lift, knowing affirmation can help calm the mind. Step back to the plank. Moving through that vinyasa. Inhaling, half lift, I am here. Downward facing dog right now. Noticing the mind, the breath, the body. Looking to the front of the mat, walking or stepping the feet. Half lift. Folding in, exhale. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, hands to heart. Right now, dropping into that intuition body. Sweep those arms out and up. You know who you are. Folding over the legs. You know what you need. Inhale, half lift. Trusting that intuition and wisdom. Back through the vinyasa. Letting that wisdom lead you through the practice. Finding your way in the dog. Thigh muscles lifting, upper arm bones hugging towards each other. Body, breath, mind, and wisdom all together. Look into the front of the mat. Walk, step, or hop. Half lift. Last round, here we go. Fold. Rising up. Hands to heart center, finding and following your bliss. Inhale out and up. Noticing what's good, folding forward. Feeling that sense of deep-seated contentedness, half lift. Stepping back and moving through Vinyasa with a sense of inherent joy. Back bend, down dog. Feeling the body, the breath, the mind, wisdom, and that deep-seated blissful happiness that all come together to constitute the experience of being you. Looking to the front of the mat, walk, step, or hop the feet. Half lift, fold and melt, rising up. Hands to heart center. Releasing the arms, closing the eyes for a brief little micro meditation. Always taking moments for stillness and reflection in the practice. No need to rush from one phase or one posture to the next. We'll move into a standing sequence, bringing with us that awareness of finding and following our bliss. As you inhale, arms can sweep out and up and folding over the legs. We're going to set up for a side angle pose. So step your left foot towards the back of your mat. Spin that left heel down and start to create your side angle. You're welcome to use a block here if that feels helpful to bring the earth a little bit higher. And then the option for an arm variation here would be to sweep the left arm overhead and then reach the right fingertips towards your back left foot. So the arms are moving in opposite diagonal lines. Trusting the obliques and the core to hold you. One more breath here. And then as you inhale, lift up to Warrior Two, letting the arms float wide, finding that Warrior Two pose. And feeling a deep sense of all that is good in this shape. Sometimes in our yoga practice, we tend to notice the deficiencies in the poses as opposed to all of what is sufficient. One more breath here. Triangle pose, reaching forward, right hand again could land on shin, block, or floor. Ruby, you decided to join us. Hello. Finding that Trikonasana. And then there's a nice little invitation for a back bend here to maybe let that top left arm float back, almost like you opened a skylight. And let the heart pivot up towards the ceiling, this sense of like being a sunflower turning towards the sun, or again, a sunlight that's opened up. We're going to come into a supported Warrior Three. So as you turn your head down to the mat, let the left hand drop, shift your weight forward. Float the left leg up parallel to the floor and find a supported Virabhadrasana 3. Enjoy having this extra anchor of support. We're going to work to lift up into a little bit of a funky balance. Bend your left knee. Sweep the opposite hand to foot, right hand to left foot. Soften the standing right knee and start to reach your left arm forward and up to come into a standing, funky Natarajasana. Once you get your balance, push that left foot into the right hand and find that funky variation for 2. One more breath here. I'm going to step back to high lunge. Left foot reaches to the back of the mat. Finding that high lunge position, arms reaching high. And then we're going to reverse our high lunge, straightening the right knee, bending the back knee, and leaning back through the torso. Feeling that sense of like shakiness in that back leg, totally normal. And then Vinyasa, flow it out. Hands come down, step it back, Move through your vinyasa. Landing in the dog or a child's pose, taking about 3 to 4 breaths. Noticing when your mind starts to become more aware of the areas of the posture that are challenging or that aren't quite going according to plan. And instead, seeing if you can focus on all that is good. We'll start to set up for the second side of the sequence. So as you look forward, step the left foot forward, spin the right heel down, and start to find that side angle pose on the second side. Again, left hand could come onto a block if that's helpful. And then the variation that I'm introducing for the arm today would be to sweep the right arm overhead and reach that left arm back towards the right foot. So the energy is moving in opposite directions and have all this engagement through the obliques and the core holding up the torso. It's extra fun if you have to like talk and modulate your breath and sound relaxed. Take one more breath here. And then lift up and open into your warrior two, taking those arms wide. And I know for me, sometimes I have a really hard time accessing bliss if I'm feeling rushed or pushed or like there's some sort of urgency that's been created around something. I find it much easier to experience bliss when I feel like I have time. I can go at my own pace. Triangle pose, start to reach forward, melt down. So in this sequence, there's no need to feel hurried. There's no urgency or rush here. We're getting in the pose, we're lingering, we're luxuriating in these shapes. And through that luxuriating, we find the bliss and follow the bliss. We'll start to move into that supported warrior three, but take your time in the transition. Shift the gaze down, bring the fingertips down, launch off that back leg, lift it up. Enjoy this extra anchor of support by having the hands down. So you can really focus on that sense of energy in that extended right leg. And now we start to shift, bending that top right knee, opposite hand, so left hand to right foot. And then once I get that bind, I'm going to soften my left knee pretty deeply. Start to lift your gaze, reach the right arm forward, and come up to that standing position. Establish the balance. And then once you have the balance, now bloom into the pose, pushing the foot into the hand. And then just hold and breathe, just be there. Not wishing for it to be more, but feeling the sufficiency of what is. And then move through your vinyasa, whatever that looks like. Stepping back, moving through your flow. Finding a down dog or a child's pose. And just enjoying a few breaths. Move into more of a floor-based sequence. Take one more breath in the down dog. Thigh muscles lifted, upper arm bones towards each other. And then as you exhale, drop the knees to the mat. Move your right thumb towards your left thumb. Step that right foot forward. Find a nice low lunge. More of a lizard position here as the hands are inside the right foot. You could keep the hands underneath you or you could walk it forward and take your center of gravity even lower. Just 2 breaths here, not a super long period of time. Because then we're going to revolve this low lunge. So as you inhale, let the hands come back underneath you. Let the left hand stay down and start to turn and twist to the right arm reaching up. And then that same invitation from that triangle pose, let the arm float back and open up like you opened that skylight, letting the light in. And then Prasarita Padottanasana, thread that right arm underneath, tuck your left toes, and walk your hands to the left and find a wide-legged forward fold. Take the hands and walk them back in line with your feet. Inhale fully, and then exhale, fold, drawing the crown of the head down towards the floor. I say towards the floor because some days my head touches, some days my head doesn't. For some of us, it never does. So it's more the directionality, the energy of the pose that really matters. Beautiful. Inhale, walk the hands forward until they're right underneath your line of sight. Now turn your left foot out 45 degrees and start to plant your left hand right underneath your eyes. Twist to the right and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. As you twist to the right, let your left inner thigh drop towards the floor. And feel that stretch, that sense of kind of pulling all along the left inner leg. One more breath here. And then Skandasana skater pose. Release the right hand, bend your left knee deeply, take your left elbow and push the left knee back. Option to keep the right hand down for support or extend the right arm wide towards that lengthened right leg. Hold one full breath. And then we're coming all the way to the front of the mat. Side angle, side plank. Left hand down. You could take supported side plank with the right foot planted, right arm up, or you could stack right foot over left. One full breath here in Vashisthasana. And then moving through your Vinyasa or straight to a down dog or child's pose. Landing in that down dog or child's pose. Remembering that every breath of this practice, we're practicing love until we remember that we are love. Finding the bliss, following the bliss, noticing what is already inherently good. And then we move into that secondary sequence on the second side by dropping the knees, shifting left thumb to right thumb, stepping that left foot forward and finding that lizard lunge. Stage one, keeping those hands right underneath the shoulders. If you feel like there's a lot of empty space to move into, you could drop the center of gravity and walk the hands forward and enjoy a couple breaths that are, again, that lower center of gravity. No urgency, no rushing, because again, that sense of blissfulness tends to arise when we're feeling unhurried. Walk the hands back underneath you. Keep the right palm planted and start to twist to your left, reaching that left arm high up to the ceiling. And then maybe letting that top left arm float back and opening that skylight, letting the light in. Last big breath here. And then as you exhale, let the left arm thread underneath, tuck the right toes, walk the hands to the right, find that Prasarita position. As you fold in, walk the hands back. Here is a nice playful opportunity. If you're somebody that loves an inversion, you could draw the crown of the head down and start to shift onto the top of the head. That's just an option for those of you where that's a safe transition. Otherwise, you're just enjoying a wide-legged forward bend. And if you chose to go upside down, you'll begin to make a controlled exit, landing back in that Prasarita, walking the hands forward. And then this time we're going to turn the right toes out 45 degrees. The right hand stays down, and I start to twist to my left. And as I twist, reaching my left arm up, my right inner thigh is like drooping down. Has that energy of kind of dropping towards the floor. And I feel that pull all along the inseam of my right leg. Last in breath here. And then taking it into high skandasana, my left hand comes down, my right knee deeply bends, and my right elbow pushes that right knee open a little wider. I could keep my left hand down for support or reach it out, kind of mirroring that elongated left leg. Feeling that power in my legs, all of that potential, possibility. And then last big pose, my hands walk to the front of my mat. My right hand is the foundation. Side plank, you could take a supported Vashisthasana with the left foot staying down, or stack the feet, finding that side plank. And then final vinyasa of the practice. Left hand comes down, and you move through your flow. Landing in your downward facing dog or child's pose. Practicing love until you remember that you are love. You allow that love to fill your body and your soul with every breath, all throughout the practice. Last inhale here. Exhale, shifting the body weight forward and then lowering in one solid piece all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes, snuggle the palms right underneath your shoulders as we set up for 9 dancing cobras. So we'll do 3 low, 3 medium, 3 high. As you inhale, we lift head, neck, shoulders, and chest only, and then lower down. Inhale, low cobra, just the head, the neck, the chest, the shoulders. And then ride the breath down. One more time. Keep it low. Head, neck, chest, shoulders. And ride the breath down. Now we'll add on the ribs. Head, neck, chest, shoulders, and portions of the upper ribs and lower down. Inhale, you ride, dancing the cobra up. And then you dance down. Full breath, dancing the cobra up and down. Option to move into high cobra, which means you lift the navel as well and dance down. If that's not right for you, stay medium or low and down. Last dancing cobra. And down. And then widen the elbows, create a pillow with your hands, and just rest your forehead. I'm only keeping my head lifted so that my voice stays clear. Really relax the glutes. You may even kind of sway the pelvis from side to side, releasing any tension there. Being aware of the body, the breath, the mind, the intuition, and the bliss, knowing they are all part of your true nature. Last back bend today, working with Dhanurasana bow pose. We're going to bend the knees and reach back and see if we can clasp hold of tops of feet or front of ankles, up to you. And then as you inhale, starting to lift head, neck, chest, shoulders, pushing feet or ankles into hands to lift the thighs, and finding your bow pose. And really not sacrificing a full breath here. About 2 more breaths. Again, not rushing the practice today. Luxuriating even in the more challenging shapes. And then slowly releasing and keeping the knees bent as you lower the upper body. Let the shins windshield wiper from side to side. Just really kind of unclenching any tension in the lower back and pelvis. And we'll start to flip over onto the back. So just like a little pancake, flip over onto the back. And setting up for some inversions. Bending the knees and bringing the feet onto the mat. And bringing the arms alongside you. Either setting up for waterfall or shoulder stand. So waterfall would be simply elongating the legs to the ceiling. Shoulder stand, you'll gain some momentum in the legs and swing them up and overhead. And then bring the hands to the low back for support. Reaching the legs up towards the ceiling. Wherever you've landed in your inversion, I'm watching the clock quite mindfully. We'll be here about another minute. Knowing that practices like prayer and meditation can really help to support the unveiling of that bliss body. Taking about 3 more breaths in your inversion. If you're in your shoulder stand, you can begin to bend the knees towards the nose, maybe a brief plow pose, legs overhead, and then palms on the mat, using them like brakes to slowly roll out. And then as we all meet back together, we'll use the core to gently lower the legs back to the mat, and we'll be setting up for Matsyasana fish pose. So I'm going to rock the body from side to side and tuck my hands underneath my buttocks. And then push into my elbows to briefly lift up and see my toes. Tilt my pelvis, Ruby. No, ma'am. Lift my heart and drop my head back. Finding that Matsyasana fish pose. Vast majority of my energy is in my elbows here. Full deep breath. And then pushing into the elbows, lifting the head, slowly rolling out of the fish pose. You can rock from side to side to release the hands. Hug the knees in towards the chest. And coming into a happy baby pose, holding onto outer ankles or outer feet. And we'll kind of little supine Upavishta Konasana here. So clasping hold of the inner heels here. And we'll start by first extending the left leg and feeling that stretch through the hamstring and the inner thigh. And then bending the left knee and straightening through the right. And then experimenting with straightening both legs into that upside down V shape. And they may not go fully straight, that's fine. And then begin to soften both knees and bringing the inner feet together, soles of the feet together. And think of pulling your heels towards your pubic bone. You can use your elbows to gently open the knees in a reclined Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose here. And then moving into spinal twist, we'll begin to release the feet. Take the inner thighs together. And let both knees fall over to the left, spinal twist. If you're interested in including the cervical spine, you can lift the head, rotate the gaze towards the right arm. Practices that include stillness and quiet are very conducive to connecting with the Anandamaya Kosha, that sense of blissfulness. Let the knees come in towards center and then let the legs fall over to the right. Finding the bliss and following the bliss. Knowing that the quieter you become, often the more you can hear. Knees into center. And then if there's any final movement, take that, because the next shape I will be calling is Shavasana. As you make your way into your Shavasana, take a moment for a brief body scan, mentally directing your awareness down to the soles of the feet and relaxing the toes, the arches of the feet, the heels and the ankles. And then moving your awareness to the hands and releasing any tension in the fingertips, links of the fingers, palms, and wrists. Then drawing the awareness up to the face and allowing yourself to swallow a time or two. And as you swallow, relinquishing any tension in the jaw, down the throat, around the tongue, or the teeth. And allowing the body to experience an embodiment very similar to a puddle that is just effortlessly spreading and taking up its space. This sense of relinquishing any sense of holding. Allowing love to fill your body and your soul. Practicing love until you remember you are love. Enjoying the quiet. For the quieter you become, the more you can hear. Without moving your body, simply invite your awareness to notice your breath. And before we close today, we're going to do a pranayama practice from exactly where you are, on your back in Shavasana. So as you bring your awareness to your breath, notice, inhale, exhale. And see if you can begin to equalize this breath. Maybe using a count, like inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, or something along those lines. And experience an equal inhale and exhale. And I'll be continuing this, watching the clock. You have 1 more minute with this equal breathing, known as samavriti. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Balanced breath in, balanced breath out. Last 30 seconds. Stick with it. Balanced breath in. Balanced breath out. Last round. Release the balanced breath and return to a normal, intuitive breath, whatever that means for you. And then begin to welcome in physical movement. A wiggle of the toes or the fingers. Maybe a rocking of the head from side to side. Until eventually you're ready to take the arms, reach them overhead, and take like a full good morning stretch. And then in your own time, make your way back up to a comfortable seat. As you arrive in your seat, notice your body present in this moment. Notice your breath, breathing the body alive. Notice your mind thinking. That wisdom sitting right inside your third eye. And then a sense of blissfulness filling you from the inside out. Bring the palms of the hands together, expressing gratitude for the fullness of all of the parts of you that have shown up for this practice. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light, which sounds like these 4 words in Sanskrit. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Victory to all of our practices.